So welcome, everybody. We're going to be moving through some, I think, very critical topics tonight that, unfortunately, we still have the same amount of time to cover. So we want you to know in advance that you can look on the website, probably after tomorrow, to get a little more information about some of the topics. And also there'll be things on the screen tonight. We also have some
Sorry guys, I get to see all my stuff.
about one of the topics tonight having to do with Incorporation. And we have representative from the Save Siesta Key group that has been working on this for the last year and a half. So we'll be covering all of that. So if you have questions about what's coming with all these topics, you'll be able to answer them. The other thing I want to tell you is I got word from some folks that have lived here probably for 45 years that they've gotten awfully confused lately. Maybe some of you have been too. There's an awful lot of organizations that are called Siesta Key this and Siesta Key that. And who are you people? And that truly was said to me on the phone this afternoon. We're really confused. And so I spent a little bit of time of saying who we are and who's what and how we afford time to people that are civic specific entities that have a focus of some kind, including environmental or whatever, but that we are a civic organization that has been here since 1948. And may not have always met every month. I think back in the old days, they met in people's homes. But we now do meet the first Thursday of every month. Please share that with everybody. We're always here and there's always work. I think half of our board, and many of them are full-time working professionals still, do volunteer work on all of the boards that you're going to hear from today. And so we're busy, we're really busy. I think I've been busier than when I did work, honestly. So if you need information, don't hesitate to call. There's probably one of us that can help you. So to get on with the beginning, we have our sheriff online, and he is in. And Sheriff Smith, are you still there?
I am.
All right, then we're going to let you go ahead and give us your report, and then we're going to also give time to our code enforcement officer, Recruit 7. Nice to see you. All right, thank you. Go right ahead, Sergeant.
All right, thank you, Catherine. And I'd just like to say, just to piggyback on what you said, I know the sheriff's office really appreciates everything you guys do and the hard work that everyone on the board and the volunteers there put in. And we really appreciate the opportunity to be able to take part in your monthly meetings and get some really good feedback from you guys and keep everybody informed on what's going on. So I just want to say, take a second and say thank you for that. I'm sorry I couldn't make it in person today. I had some conflicting schedules, but I was able to join you guys from my car and give you the report for the sheriff's office for November of 2021. We had 263 calls for service out on Siesta Key during November. And again, we stay at that 6% mark for the persons or property crimes. You know, the little over 2 years that I've been out here, we continue to kind of hover right around that percentage, which is good. You know, like I said several times in the past, great community out there. Everybody kind of looks out for one another. And just goes to show just all the hard work you guys put in does pay off. Out of those 263 calls, about little over 50% made up were thefts. Probably one of the biggest of such was somebody had left a boat trailer sitting down at Turtle Beach overnight a couple of weeks ago. It had a trailer lock on it. But somebody came in and cut it off and stole his boat trailer. Other than that, it was some unattended items left on the beach, a couple bicycle thefts still, some kayaks, and I'm not 100% certain, but I'm 90% certain that most of those things were left unlocked and left sitting out. That doesn't make an excuse for it, but just again, we kind of got to keep looking at all the new people coming, all the tourisms we get, just keep an eye on things, try to make it difficult for somebody to take your stuff, lock it up, put it in the garage, keep an eye on it. All those little simple things like that can help prevent you from being a victim of a crime of opportunity. A couple of other things we had going on that were kind of noteworthy. We had a couple criminal mischief calls out there. That's when somebody does damage to another person's property. One of them involved a vehicle that they claimed had gotten scratched prior to it being towed, and then another one was somebody had tried to break into a car and tried to pry the door open, but the doors were locked. So they did some damage to the car, but they didn't get anything out of it, and they didn't steal the car or anything inside of it. So that was good. Other than that, everything that we saw last month has been pretty on pace with what we've seen. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Moving forward, December is obviously a busy month on Siesta Key. We have another pub crawl in the village like we did for Turkey Trot, the one over the day before Thanksgiving, which we had a lot of people at. Luckily, we didn't have any incidents. I don't think we made one arrest that night. I had 5 deputies on horseback. We had about 4 or 5 patrol guys out there, and then also 5 guys from Siesta Key substation. So we made a good presence. I think that overall that helped us. It kept the crime down. I don't think we made one arrest that night. A couple small incidents, but nothing noteworty for an arrest. We plan on doing the same thing for the Santa Stumble that takes place the day after Christmas. We're going to make another big presence out there, be seen, and hopefully be able to prevent anything from happening before it does. So, we got Santa's coming to the village. I think later on this month to the South Village. We had the Light Up the Village parade this past weekend, which I think went very well with the horses in that. The sheriff came out. He walked in the parade. He was very impressed. He thought everything was great out there. Loved the parade. And then we had the Crystal Classic. I just had the wrap-up meeting for that last week with the Siesta Key Chamber. And just some noteworthy numbers, I think, that they had. It was 4 days, 1 night. They had 30,000 people paid attendance. They had over 300 volunteers, 78 retail vendors, 6 food trailers, 24 sculptors, master sculptors, another 26 amateurs. And we didn't have any incidents out there for that either. So I think they did a pretty good job of getting a ton of people in and out of there. I know it's a big hit with the community. Everybody loves to come out there and look at the sand sculptures. But that was just basically a little bit of our past month and kind of what we got coming up. But I'd like to open it up if anybody has any questions of anything that happened last month or anything they're looking forward to coming up in December.
Can you hear me?
You got to go a little louder. Yeah.
I may have missed this. What is the crime rate for 2021? How does that compare to last year and the year before? Total crime, is it going up? Is it the same or is it less?
Year to date?
Yes, as compared to prior years.
2019.
I don't have those numbers in front of me. I had recently pulled those numbers and we had looked at them for the Siesta Key Condo Association a few months ago. Obviously, last year is kind of an anomaly. It was kind of a crazy year with COVID and the shutdown, and then we opened back up and people fled to Florida for a while. But I can get those numbers and I can send them to Catherine if you'd like, and you can get an overall look at what it was. I can usually do. It's easier for us if we can do like 2019, 2020, and 2021. Is that what you'd like?
Yeah, that might be helpful. This way we can kind of see, because I think some of it feel like it might be getting worse, and it feels like it is, and maybe it isn't. And so, yes, that would be helpful if we could produce a number like that.
Yeah, I can tell you a few
year to date,
yeah,
that kind of thing. This way we can look from year to year to see how it's trending.
I looked at, I can tell you this, a few months ago when we were the discussion of adding the 2 extra deputies out here, it come up, and I'd done some research on calls for service on the key, and it remarkably, the calls for service are pretty, over the past 10 years, have almost stayed the exact same. The population has changed, and some of the population will go up and down, but the calls for service, it stays pretty regular. But I'll get those numbers and I'll send them to Catherine. Hopefully I can get them this week, and I'll send them to you, Catherine, and then you can share that with everybody.
That would be great. I think one of the distinctions might be what type of calls perhaps, or severity of some of the more outliers. That would be good. And I'm sure that would be maybe a difference we've been noticing. Maybe not numbers, but what the actual events are. That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have
No
a
problem.
question.
One more
One
question.
more. Sergeant Smith, we put in 45 new reefs this last, on Thursday, 45 new ones. We have 30 concentrated at the Waterside East area. I would like to make sure we got some water patrols. And we also have the new one put back in the intercoastal that was missing. So
Okay.
you make at least let them know to keep an eye out, all right?
Where? Yeah, I'm saying that one more time. Where'd you put the new ones at?
Sorry. The new ones went to, Waterside East Commonwealth area.
Okay.
And then also, we put the one back in the intercoastal that was missing.
I will definitely let our Marine Patrol know and have them cruise through there a little more often.
Right, we put 30 in a concentrated area, so it could be a target. That's why I want to make sure they look. All right? It'll be in my PowerPoint presentation. You can see the area that we put them in. All right?
I'll let them know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a quick comment.
One more comment?
Real quick. I'll move a little closer. Just thank you very much. I think the police presence, the sheriff's presence on the key is great, especially the horseback presence and the ATV presence on the beach. I think that makes a huge difference. I will say one thing. My wife and I went to the village parade over the last weekend, and I was a little concerned that people were trying to avoid the village because of the traffic with their cars. And there was a lot of foot traffic on Canal Road, and I saw lots of people running right through the stop sign. So just sort of FYI, and right after that happened, I saw a deputy, a man on a horseback. I wish I had seen them sooner and I would have let them know. But anyway, I think you guys do a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and we'll definitely take note of that. So we appreciate all the feedback we can get.
Joe, one more question?
On
and then-
treasure boat between Heigl and Oxford, we're starting to see a major uptick in speeding again, as we did several years ago. That's a
Say
25
that-
mile per hour zone.
I'm sorry, my computer was breaking up a second. You said on Heigl?
Between Heigl and Oxford on treasure boat.
Oh, on Treasure Boat. Okay. We will. We'll get some units out there and take a look at it.
Thank you. It has been very bad, and you know, I don't say that very often, Sergeant Smith.
Yeah. No. You know, a lot of people try to use that as a cut through and think they can
Yes.
speed through there, but yeah, we'll definitely get out there and run some radar.
You want to ask one more?
Yeah, I have one more question. Sergeant, what's really bad on Treasure Boat, because I live one street over, is that all of these landscaping trucks park where there's hills. And then when I'm behind them, I can't see if someone's coming towards me. So I have to, kind of crawl up there. But why don't they park in these people's driveways? I mean, there's no room on Treasure Boat for parking, especially on those little humps that I go over to go to my house.
Yeah, we've had that
Yes,
complaint
Steve.
before, and I've spoken to a couple of those landscaping crews before about paying attention to where they park, because sometimes you got to go over that bridge in the wrong lane because they park in
Yep.
spots. Yeah, we'll get out there. We'll get out there a little more and take a look at it and see if we can't resolve that issue.
Thank you.
Okay, we have now, and Sergeant Smith, we don't see you before the holidays. I hope you do have a nice holiday break, and I'll look forward to the information you're sending, and call us and we'll call you. Thank you.
Catherine. I appreciate it.
Happy holidays. We have a new code enforcement officer that came on with the county about almost 2 months ago now, and he joined us last time on the Zoom call, but today he's here written this person. So I'm so glad that you're here today. Come on up, this is Rick Russo. Welcome. Come on up. You can go right ahead. All right.
How you doing? Good to see so many of you. I'm Officer Russ with Code Enforcement for Sarasota County, and I've been taking some notes, and I've taken place of Susan Staley. She was the other officer, and she traveled quite a distance from Northwood to get up here, so she just wanted to give the area up, and I've kind of volunteered a long time ago, so, I was just, I was introduced last meeting, right, Catherine and Joyce, and, I think I can work with you guys, okay? At least you're showing up and, we're still ain't out of the pandemic yet, but at least you're showing up and people showing concern for their area that's really good. So, there's a couple, I think I want to do a follow-up with someone for 361 Beach Road, unless they're not here. But,
It may not be here, but
that was Barbara, right.
Can you talk in the microphone, Russ? Sorry.
I got a big mouth. Though.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yep, is Barbara here? No? Okay.
but that's okay.
You can give an update.
Oh, okay. Well, her question was on 361 Beach Road. She wanted to know that being that it's its own multi-family, they're renting out nightly, and the house is in the appraiser's website for single-family residents as property use. And our code is to govern just to govern the zoning itself, not the use. So we don't know why the property appraiser lists it as a single-family dwelling, which it is a single-family dwelling. That's how it was built. But they're allowed to rent nightly, so we can let her know they are allowed because it's in the zoning. They have the proper zoning because a single family doesn't separate it from where it's at. Okay, so I wanted to let you know that. And it was another Dr. Schleifer.
Yes, he's not here. right now.
Okay, well I can call him back in
Yeah,
person.
secret.
Okay, and I wanted to. Someone else asked, was there a Zoom link? And if somebody could send that to me, I do have some business cards I can leave you guys. I can leave some on the table over there.
That'd be great.
And I did bring some printouts of our process, and I'll leave these on the table also. And what that consists of is the process of code enforcement, okay? People say, well, I just called. Well, we can't go out there in the restaurant, and we don't have them kind of powers, okay? But we can address the situation, and it gives you the overview of everything we can do. And it goes in between the zoning districts of what we're allowed to do, they're listed here. And the type of enforcement I'm doing is on the barrier island, okay? So this will give you a good idea, and I'll also put some cards out there so you can have any questions. You can call me or ask Catherine, and she can give you my number because I have a cell phone. We don't play desk phones no more in Sarasota County. You just call direct, okay? It's better than the president, all right? Yeah. You can get me right on the phone, okay? So that's no problem. I'll put these back on the table, and I don't want to take up your whole meeting, but I had something else. Let me see. Okay. Oh yeah, I have some booklets for you. I'll leave these there also. How's that? Speaking to the mic?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll leave these here also. It's a citizen's guide to the Sarasota County codes for anybody got any questions or is interested in trying to get more clarification. And just feel free to give me a call anytime. I mean, I love the job, so even if somebody calls me on a Saturday and I get home, I take my phones with me because we do overtime and we do night complaints and we do weekend complaints. So if you got anything where people think they're being slick, especially with this rental stuff, because if they think they're pretty slick, we'll get on. Just give us time, and I will be coming out even on the weekends or at night, whatever it takes to track them down and get them. I might have to even put my Barney Fife in action just to get them. Okay. He's here. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll leave
Russ.
these in the back, and I'm gonna be at every meeting. You ain't get rid of me that easy. Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you. Applications, I'm gonna make copies for people that's interested, and I'll give them that.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having. Thank you. You bet. I have to say, he started out great with, I knew my first meeting with him was going to be Glebe Park. It was great. We lasted an hour and a half with Susan Staley going over everything with nobody to interrupt us. It was wonderful to be in nature like that. And he comes to us from Longboat Key Township, and also before that, Atlanta, Georgia, where he has lots of other pretty good duties there. So I think we've got someone who really will be able to help us, and Susan will keep him well connected too. Thank you again. Have a great holiday, Rick. Bye now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so today, the first person I want to introduce, you've heard before, I'm sure, because Tracy has been in our meeting as a member and has been involved with the Save Siesta Key organization for quite some time. Actually, my down the street neighbor, kind of sort of. That's right. And so Tracy, would you like to give them the update of what's coming ahead really soon? There's a lot of important things. Thank you.
Just watch the cord, Stacy.
Yeah.
I'll watch the cords, no tripping today.
Hi, everybody. So I just want to give a quick overview of everything we've been working on this year for some of you who may have missed it who've been away. We had 3 goals that we had to meet in order to file for incorporation with our state legislature. We had to do a feasibility study to determine if it was financially feasible to incorporate the island. We had to write our own charter, and we have to show community support. So we've done all 3 of those things. To date, we have 2,021 petitions signed. They're on our website. It was an easy number to remember, 2021. They're on our website. You can still go there and print them out and drop them off at any Davidson Struggs. It does have to be a wet signature. We also have stacks of them at Davidson Struggs. If you haven't been to our website, I encourage you to go to our website. We do have a YouTube channel where you can check out all of the meetings that we've had, the public meetings. They were all recorded and they're on our on our YouTube channel page, which is linked on our website. So in determining the feasibility study, there's a couple things I want to update everyone on. When we submitted that to the state legislature back in September, we were told that it had to go through the state offices and that it had to be vetted and viewed by several different departments and aides of our local delegation. The deadline for receiving that information back is November 3rd, tomorrow. Yay. So we're looking forward to getting that information back. They may request changes. They may have questions. Once we are able to determine their feedback and if we need to make changes to that, or if we don't need to make changes, which is the hope, it's a really great feasibility study, so that's the hope, then we will make that full study available to the public. Because then it will be finalized. But right now, currently, we have a summary of the feasibility study, which is much more readable on our website, on the Save Siesta Key website. Again, that's savesiestakey.org. So we get a lot of questions, and I'm hoping to answer some questions for you folks today that you may have if you're not up to speed on our efforts. So fiscally, what does this mean for the taxpayers? We can do this for $0.25 ad valorem tax. It's the lowest in the state. And the reason that we're able to do that is because our property values are so significant on this island. This will provide sufficient funds for our town management and our services. So what does $0.25 mean to you? It's about $97.65 a year for the average home a year. So it's really reasonable to have a voice that we don't currently have. So what does the town organization look like? Well, in our charter, we decided to do a council manager form of government. We have 5 elected council members. It's a non-paid position, so it will be volunteer positions, and you have to live here on the island. You have to be a resident 6 months plus 1. Our hope is that, you're really here all year. And so those in the structure of the government, the new town, it could be the manager, the finance director, the clerk, the planner, and the admin assistant. So what does that mean for our services? Well, we would contract for an attorney as opposed to having one on staff, which can be very expensive. Our plan was very frugal and very conservative from the very beginning. So we would hire that, and we would also hire for professional planning services. The services provided from the new town, planning and zoning. That's it. That's what we're going to provide, planning and zoning. Everything else is going to come from the county through interlocal agreements. And we might be able to do better than we're already doing. We'll be in a position to ask for things that we feel that we need in this community, which voices are tough to come by, it seems lately. The state roads will still be owned by the state. And our 2 main bridges will be owned and maintained by FDOT, which is the current situation today. So we get that question a lot, so I hope that helps people. So we got some really good news a few days ago, and we're very excited. We will be having a town hall hosted by the local delegation. It's really critical that we have strong support in this town hall. The date of that meeting is Wednesday, December 8th at 6 p.m. It's at Siesta Chapel. That's where we hosted our meetings, but I want to make it clear this is hosted by the local delegation, and the local delegation will be there. Why is it so important? Because remember those 3 things I mentioned in the beginning: charter, feasibility study, community support. We need to show the local delegation that we have this community support. If it is not a strong showing, it's not going to work in our favor. So we really need every single person there. I need you all to tell your neighbors, tell your friends, send emails, make phone calls. Let's get people there, because this is the platform where you will have a voice. And I know many of us have not felt we had a voice in many of the decisions that have affected our island recently. We also have some other events coming up that you can participate in. Jan Webster, one of our lead volunteers, is here to tell you about a couple of walks we've got scheduled. We encourage support for that. It's 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes another way. She's got all the details, but she's going to come up and speak after me. And then our board will talk to everyone at that walk at the end and provide more information about these meetings and some of the things that we've been working on and trying to accomplish. So you'll get updates after that as well. Finally, the delegation meeting, the one that is secondary to the town hall, but also equally as important. That meeting is in the County Commission chambers, Monday, December 13th, starts at 9 a.m. That is when the local delegation will decide if they will vote to take this to Tallahassee, support our local bill, and give this community the opportunity to vote on incorporation. So understand, our mission from the beginning has been to get this on the ballot, to make sure that this community gets to decide what's right for them. And that is truly the most important part of what we're trying to do. So even if you're not for it, you should be able to vote not for it, right? Lastly, I want to share with you the t-shirts, which we will be handing out at the walk. And also, if you come to any of these meetings, please wear them. I think they're great personally, and I think the message is clear. Are these great? Hear our voice, let us vote, right? That's the goal. So I'm open to any questions. If anybody has any questions, yeah?
When you said that it, on Monday, that meeting on the 13th,
Monday, December 13th for the local delegation meeting, yes.
when you say the local delegation decides, are you talking about the same county commissioners that keep throwing us under the bus?
No, I'm not. So the local delegation consists of 4 representatives and a senator. And Fiona McFarland is our local representative. She's kind of over the key for the most part. Senator is Joe Gruters.
Who's great.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Anthony Lefko, I've been here for 21 years full time.
Pleasure.
A lot of us paid for to have our kids go to school up north or wherever. And now one of the greatest portions of our tax county is for education. Now, if we're an independent entity, we should pay for the kids who live here, certainly. But we don't have so many. So our aliquot share will be much less. Now, will we be able to work out something with the county so that we can use those resources for things we badly need here and have been neglected by the county for so long?
So my answer to that question is we will have more negotiating power. Here's the difference. You're going to have people who locally live here making local choices, local voices. In our last delegation meeting, I found it so fascinating that when Harry and one of our board members got up and spoke to the local delegation and presented our case essentially, following him was someone from Longboat Key who has their own municipality, and following, and there was 4 or 5 speakers from local municipalities. And that's all incorporation really is that we have our own voice. Many of the things that we discussed in our board meetings was we can have volunteer committees. And that's something we as an organization really hope to see, where if someone comes to us and says, hey, we don't want to see these parking spaces and these trees ripped out in front of Salty Dog, right? I don't know, I haven't spoken to one person who wanted to see that happen, and it happened. We can form a group and say, hey, why don't you go lead a group and figure out what the right solution is. And I think that's really the advantage of incorporation. We do have some things about the advantages of incorporation on our website on that feasibility link. I recommend you look at that because it kind of talks about those things. In regard to school taxes, I can't speak to that. I'm not privy to that information or how that works, but I know that we still have to pay the county taxes. Even if we become our own municipality, that's not going to change. The difference is we can take some of those funds and use them for things we deem important as citizens of this community. Anybody else?
Tracy.
Yes, Chris.
I've been hearing about, like the infrastructure taxes coming through, it's going to the city of Sarasota, one low key, but would Siesta Key be able to get tap into if.
Is that part of the shared taxes, like the ones that kind of go to Tallahassee and get all shared?
No, I'm talking about the new funds that the administrative just passed.
Lane State, yeah.
So they passed additional, when the federal government says, okay, we're gonna throw this money, infrastructure money to the municipality.
Now I understand what you're saying. Yes, so we would qualify for those programs where we don't currently qualify. Also grants, another thing that we could qualify, that as not being a municipality, it becomes very difficult to have municipal grants and funding. So we would qualify for much more of that as our own municipality. Right now, like COVID money, for example, right? So Sarasota got this big lump of COVID money and they got to allot what it is that we got. That wouldn't happen anymore. Now as our own municipality, we would get a piece of that pie already. Is that the answer?
That was it.
Yeah, and infrastructure works the same way is my understanding. Also hurricane relief, disaster funds, and all those things. Yeah.
Tracy, the hotels that got approved recently, the transportation impact analysis associated with those hotels was garbage, absolute garbage. If we're gonna run our own city, so to speak, we're gonna need our own transportation model so that we understand the impact of whether it's boutique hotels that, for example, the Chamber of Commerce wants. We need to understand those. Any one of these major investments that are gonna bring more people and more cars onto the pavement, we need to worry about.
Jim, right?
My question,
Jim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we never met in person, but we spoke on the phone several times. I wanted to make sure.
Did it, John Davison's back room, but that's okay. The issue is, do we have in the budget the money to build and maintain such a model?
I think it's a great question, and traffic is one of the major concerns that we've determined based on some of the surveys that we put in front of the community. Traffic is right up there in one of the top 3. So I don't think a traffic study is out of the question. Obviously, it's going to be up to the commissioners that are elected in place for this new town council. So, what I say to everyone is, make sure that you're vetting those people and they represent your interests and they get your vote. So if traffic is, I know it's top priority for you and everyone who lives on that south end is very concerned about it.
Let me just tell you,
Yeah.
it's gonna cost about $150,000 to build it, and then less money than that every year to maintain it, and we need that. If we're gonna run our own area around.
Yeah.
And we think we're gonna do a decent job, and we're only doing land use planning. And that's what, we're only serving one function. We gotta have that tool in order to do it right.
I agree with you.
Okay, so and I'm giving you, those are roughly the numbers that are the cost to have that model. I already built one of those models for 15 Point Road. I know what it costs me to do that.
Right.
Which is the litigation. So
There's a significant amount of money.
My point is simple. You have a budget. You need to make sure that in that budget, the line item, I'm sorry, I really should have brought this up earlier, but you need to make sure that you have a line item in your budget that it's covered.
We have extra money in the budget for infrastructure specifically. So if you look at the budget online, you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trish, I have a question. Assuming the feasibility study's been done, there's a charter and there's community support, right? You checked all 3 boxes. What other reason would there be for this application to be rejected? What other reason would there be where people said no, despite the fact that we did everything we were asked to do?
I can't think of one, right? I mean, that makes logical sense. If that's what the requirements are and we meet those requirements,
It's a done deal.
it should be.
But there's politics.
It is a
That's right.
It does. I mean, Fiona has agreed to take the bill to Tallahassee and support it. And, you know, we believe that we have the support necessary. We do have a lobbyist in Tallahassee working for us that we hired. So he's our kind of finger on the button of the pulse. And, yeah, I think we're doing everything right.
Is he providing any feedback to you or others about how things are going?
He is to our board on a regular basis, and everything we're hearing is very positive.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
She came back to
Yeah. Okay, my time is up.
Very
I'm gonna quickly introduce Jan, or you wanna speak first, Catherine?
That's okay, I'll just finish work.
You do it, you do
Thank
it.
you for all your work on this, Tracy.
Yep.
I'm Jan Webster. I work with Tracy on Save Siesta Key, and I think everyone has one of these in front of you. We just got them hot off the press today. There's 1,000 of them, and we are moving them all over the key because we want everybody to put these 4 events on your calendar. We're asking you 4 times in the next 2 weeks to show up. I mean, we really need them to hear our voice. So Tracy's t-shirt, when we're on our walk, we're going to be saying, hear our voice, let us vote. That's all we're asking, but we need the community support to do that. On this little card here, you'll see that there's 2 walks that we've scheduled. And this isn't about doing a 5K, and this isn't about doing a run. This is about being visible in the community. We're going to have signs, we're going to be wearing t-shirts, and we're going to be chanting. You can be sure of that. And if you'll see on here, there's 2 different colors. One of the walks the first one, you'll see red on the map, goes south. They both start at the same point. One goes south. The next Sunday, we're going to go north. And like I said, it's not about speed. We're just going to assemble. We're going to have our signs, and we're meeting in the parking lot by the tennis courts. So we'll have a little bit of a rally there to kind of get everybody together, and we're just going to leisurely walk. So this coming Sunday, we're going to walk south with our signs. When we hit a half an hour, we're coming back, because our goal is to be back at noon in the parking lot so that the Save Siesta Key board can give us some encouragement, kind of a little bit of a rally, because we really need to get the community engaged. So I'm just asking you to look at this and put all 4 dates on your calendar.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan.
If you want to, I also made copies of both of those things, and you can take them and share them as you will. Plenty of more information there for you. Thank you so much for making those. That was great. Okay, now, one of the things that we wanted to do tonight, and this won't take but a minute, it took a year and a half of lots of planning and work, and we've been, like I said, been very busy participating in lots of different, very significant community actions. And as you may all know us by now from our work on large projects, including the Big Path Stretch project that we managed for about almost 5.5 years, great detail. And believe it or not, we did get some things from it. We lost in a court action, but it was not a total loss. But we persevered. And we also gather facts. We don't make up things, we go by facts. And then we make a decision. And our board, in the opportunity we've had to know about the Siesta Key, Save Siesta Key project and the issues about incorporation, we have looked at all the legislative requirements, and they have met all of them. And they have continually kept us involved. They have provided opportunities to meet, and they've been active in our community. And I believe that our legislators will need some persuasion, because there's been very few new towns authorized this way in a very long time. But I can tell you that I've learned a lot. Our board has learned a lot. And the consensus, as far as I know, it's 100%, is that we are giving our support to the right to vote tonight to the Siesta Key effort of the corporation. So
right to vote is the right to determine. And just like you said, if you want to say no, you're free to say no. But you need to have the opportunity to raise your voice, which has been something that has been muted in other ways, and we need to have the opportunity to say all this. So thank you all for all support that you've been given. The next thing we want to talk about is I'm going to ask Bob Luckner, my spouse, who he and I both have been serving on the Siesta Key Coalition Board, and half of our board has been serving on all of the committees this year, trying to network with everybody so that we wouldn't have to go to legal actions. As you know, we've been to every single meeting. We've even been to some they didn't expect us at. And it really made a difference because now we have data that we can bring forward because of those actions. We have been really busy. And I can say that from that, we have learned that even when you do your very best and you tell the truth and you bring the facts to all the right people at every turn in a very friendly, formal, appropriate way, not a crazy way, a proper way, they can still say no. Yeah. And they will, because there's things that they're considering we may know nothing about a lot of the time. I'm pretty sure of it. And those things may not be of great interest to most of us. And so now we have 2 legal challenges that have been filed, and I want my husband Bob to tell you about the 2 we know about. One was in the paper that Lourdes filed this past week. And also we have another one that we've not issued a press release, but I believe there's one to be issued imminently that I believe that he's holding right now. From Joe Wallace, who a couple of months ago stood in our meeting and said, we're going to fight this. I will fight this. And we've done a lot of work since then. So I want Bob to tell you what they are. And then just in advance, let you know that we haven't put anything on our website about either thing just yet, because we wanted to give both an opportunity to be mentioned and to let you know that they're different. And there's some commonality, but there's some differences. And those are things that you all can study on your own. We could probably give you some advisement about them, but it might make a difference in levels of support if you would like to do that. We'd like for everybody to feel that they can participate. So Bob, would you like to come up and just talk about those? Thank you.
While Bob's coming up, we did post to our Facebook page. Lourdes is,
I don't believe we have that on our Facebook page for Siesta Key Association. It might be on the coalition.
oh, I
think
thought,
I do post on the coalition site as well.
okay,
As Siesta Key.
Right.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Well, after a year and a half, I've been working as the vice president for the coalition. Catherine's been on board, and Joyce and Jean have been active committee people on it. As you know, on October the 27th, and then again on November the 2nd, we lost. And honestly, they didn't care what we wanted out here. And that is, in my mind, the primary reason to incorporate is because we can have our own comprehensive plan and have our own veto power over these kinds of things. So the coalition, as well as SKA, has decided not to actively participate in any litigation around both of these. We've sort of fired our shots at the county commission, and in one case we lost 3-2, which wasn't a supermajority, and in another case we lost 4-1. And the only consistent was Nancy Dietrich, as she has been in a lot of things. So the coalition has said it's going to hold its position for a little while, not be an active participant, but we are going to be ready, assuming one or both of these litigations are successful. And they're both damn good, both very good. Because I think both of them basically send the commission back to the starting gate where they were in December of 2020, and maybe we'll get a different outcome. Because this time I think they will have to go through the comprehensive plan, which takes a supermajority. Okay, so let me describe the 2 lawsuits and introduce the 2 people who are here today. But Lourdes filed one on the 24th. To not do disservice to us, but it said This is a consistency lawsuit that the binding development plan and the actions they took for height in the Village Hotel are inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. So maybe she'll win by summary judgment, it's possible. Those kind of things tend to be kind of factually an issue, so it might go to trial in district court here. And amazingly, it's a de novo trial, brand new, start all over. You are not bound by all the facts that were in there before. You have to put all new facts on the record. And that, unlike Einstein, who says when you try to do the same thing again and expect a different outcome, I do think they should have had a different outcome. And a fair judge would find that way. I think Lourdes is here, and I want to say thank you to her. Stepping forward to do that, and more power to her. The other lawsuit, which was filed on Monday, in a timely way, is different. What it said was that the UDC amendment is that they should have changed the comprehensive plan. And in fact, they started down that path, amazingly. And then on January the 26th, I went and testified, the coalition did, and said, don't do that. This is a really bad idea. The commission nonetheless approved it and told the staff to go study it. And then 4 months later, quietly, in the dark of the night, they canceled it. Not the commission, the staff, who didn't have the authority to do that. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. That's in a nut what the lawsuit is. It's been filed by 2 individuals and 2 condos. Jim Wallace, stand up, Jim. Plaintiff on it, got the name of Rob Sachs, who lives down by the Ascari, is a plaintiff, and it's against both hotels and the 2 condos that are beside those hotels. One at 222 Beach Road across by Access 5, and the other one Marina del Sol, which is right across the street. They're plaintiffs. They clearly have standing, and they just basically say, you guys abandoned the path you started down. That's against, among other things, the Florida Constitution, Florida law, county code of how you change the comprehensive plan. You can't just say, well, never mind, and we'll go change the zoning code and say that's okay. So I think they both have good cases, and we'll see what happens. As backups, Jim has a similar kind of lawsuit as Lourdes if the judge kind of pushes them that way. Both are collecting money for basically to pay for the litigation and to pay a bonus to the lawyers if they are successful. And so that's sort of where they are. Both would appreciate your support, and we wish them good luck. I have a feeling in a year from now, the coalition will reemerge and have yet another debate in front of the county commission about whether that should be changed or not. I want to take a minute to mention 2 other significant things that are happening next Tuesday in front of the Board of County Commissioners. Incredible. One is that our arch enemy, Mr. Saba, who owns the property at 636 Beach Road. How many know where that is? It's across from the Tivoli condominiums on Beach Road. It's about 5 houses up from the public beach. It's a beautiful, big kind of blue house there. It was built about 5 years ago. Twice now, Mr. Saba has said, I want to tear that brand new house down and build a condo there. And so this time, this 3rd time, is going to be to build a 3-story building that's got 4 condos in it, and it's 186 feet beyond the coastal setback line. So twice before, the county commission has said, It's not just no, but frankly, hell no, you know. The test is supposed to be minimum use, economic use of the property. And the Tivoli lawyer last time said, well, I know what the minimum economic use is. It's sitting right there. It was just built using an exception to the comprehensive plan. So we'll go to setback line. So we'll see what happens. The other thing that's going to happen on Tuesday, and I don't know anything about it really, there was a map that was published on November the 23rd that changed the zoning amendment that controls commercial property if you want to redevelop it to include small apartments. In other words, commercial on the ground floor and some worker bee type of apartments on the second floor. Those are you who know Gidgets. That's sort of what that is. Okay. Well, this is something to allow that to happen any place in the county, and it increases the density for that, and it allows a different kind of window and different parking regulations and stuff like that. So in my mind, it said two things to me. One is they're changing the density regulations in commercial general. Just after on October the 27th, they said there are no density regulations on commercial general. So which is it? And then, even though you can't tell it from the map, I understand that it's going to exclude Siesta Key overlay district. Now, what the heck is that? Other than the fact it's illegal to change the Siesta Key overlay district density without changing the comprehensive plan. But they didn't. So I talked to Jim, I said, that looks like an admission to me. That's going to be interesting next Tuesday. Okay, that's where I am.
Couple of questions, Bob.
Stacy?
So, Siesta Key Association in support of the living above the commercial or not? Just don't know?
Well, I'm not sure what it is. It'll be published tonight, but I suspect if they're going to put some protections on the rest of the county, but not Siesta Key, we would oppose it.
Right, that makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah?
Did you ask Jim? There's a rumor that the owners of the 10 units at 222 Beach were offered $55 million for those 10 units and they declined it. Is that a rumor or is it fact?
Well, I heard a rumor that they were offered 100 million, so who the heck knows? But I think it's just a rumor. Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you want to? Can the builders proceed while the litigation is pending?
Which one?
Well,
Any of them.
Well,
any of
the two.
They keep going there for wait.
I think the biggest impediment is that they would have trouble getting a loan.
Yeah. Insurance.
And insurance.
God, for Benderson doesn't need a loan probably.
Well, Benderson's not involved in this.
Right.
At the moment.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about the Benderson case, bring everybody up to speed.
Okay. Yes.
Hi, Barb and Jay Lancer. We're a little late to the party. We want to thank everyone for all the work that everyone's obviously done over the years. The reason we're here now is because we want to give our full support to your efforts. We really want to thank you. You mentioned an offer at 222. We own the commercial property from the terrace through to Ripfire, including Gibbons that you talked about. We've been offered unbelievable amounts now that this has passed because people think they can get our property, which includes a daiquiri deck and scarf and everything, and they can build 8 stories. And then Chris Brown is a friend of ours. He's been offered Red J an outrageous amount of money. So this could potentially turn into nothing but hotels. It's a travesty. I just commend you all for what you're doing. The little bit of feedback we're getting from our people is no one knows exactly where to throw their donations to. Do they go to Lord's? Do they go to this new lawsuit? We have a lot of donors waiting to donate. Well, we don't want to splinter everything. Jay said, it's too bad we don't have 1 or 2 lawyers doing all the work. So that we can support those efforts.
Well, there's your answer, straight from, the horse's mouth. As to fund solicitations, we don't have much time, but Lourdes, if you want to stand up and say where to send money, have at it.
You can visit my website. I have a donation page there. That's.
Lourdes, come up to the microphone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right, because that way it'll be on the recording. Goes out.
I don't think we need to get into details.
Yeah.
Not
We're gonna put
Thank
it on
you,
our-
thank
we're
you
gonna
for
put it
the
on our
opportunity.
website.
My website, oh, thank you. The website is siestakeycommunity.com, siestakeycommunity.com. So thank you for your support and thank you for mentioning about Tuesday. I didn't know about that and that'll be good for us.
I guess the question
Jim?
isn't where to send it. The question we all have out here is what's going to get, where to send to get the most bang for our buck. I mean, you guys are going to splinter this, it seems like, and we don't know what to do, right, Jay? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, I guess what I'd say is that we're sort of running out of time, but
We got
Jim's here and Lourdes is here, and in 5 minutes you can go talk to him.
Yeah.
Because I know you have a
I've got,
topic.
but I'm fine, I'm fine.
Let me get
Yeah.
to 5
We
minutes.
do want to end.
5 minutes, Jim.
My name is Jim Wallace. And
In the mic.
I've been working on this for quite a while, as many of you know. And so in order to meet their deadline that I have to get through this in 5 minutes, I'll stick to my script. But if anybody would like to talk more about it, I'll stay around afterwards. We gave Siesta Key Association the first crack at our press release that we just came out with today, approved by my legal team. And so there's 30 copies up there, enough for basically everyone. So my wife and I put together legal teams and committed up front to fund the wrong thing. All right, I'd like to brief you all quickly on 2 court cases that have the potential to make a huge positive difference to Siesta Key. Siesta Key Association played and continues to play a very positive role in both legal matters. The first court case involves the Benderson project on the corner of 41 and Sticking Point, which project requires an all-new intersection or signal traffic light at Avenue B and C between 41 and the South Bridge. At present, I'm the sole plaintiff in litigation appealing FDOT's approval of this new traffic light installation of which is a condition of the Sarasota BOCC approval of the entire Siesta Promenade development. FDOT, in approving the traffic light installation, admitted that the county provided absolutely no analysis of the impact of that installation of such a new traffic light on Siesta Key's primary access road. FDOT has the new traffic light stopping all east-west traffic dead in its tracks every 75 seconds. Every 75 seconds. Imagine that. Well, while I'm the sole plaintiff, the real issue before the court now is whether any Siesta Key residents' views matter at all. If we win on standing, we're still at standing, right? We're off to the races on merits for the first damn time. I mean, in total, we've raised over $300,000, believe it or not, to get to where we are, and we were still at standing. $300,000. The second case, just filed this past Monday, deals with the BOC's October 27th, 21 decision. We call our filing the kill shot, I named it. Because if we win on our first argument, everything decided on October 27th will be null and void. And that includes both hotel approvals. Okay? This is a very good deal. I'm going to brag about my legal team in a little bit anyway, but these guys, the brief, Bob's description of our filing, you got to read the file. Okay? Has anybody read it?
No, Jay.
We have.
Okay, well, if you read the filing, if we win on the first argument, as opposed to have to move to subsequent counts, it's all over. And it's basically a procedural argument that Bob did talk about. That's they didn't follow the process. They didn't follow the appropriate process to amend the comprehensive plan. And so if we win on that, it could be by February. It could literally by February. So anyway, my wife and I put together the legal team and committed upfront to fund the entire project because we only had 30 days to meet the court deadline. 30 copies of the press release are here, and I really strongly recommend you get it and read it. We did this because there was no way in hell I had to commit to these lawyers, get them going, because they had to start right from the beginning in order to file the brief that you'll see if you read it. So that's why I have to give my wife credit. She said, Jim, we just got to do this. Finally, a few words on our legal team handling both matters. In short, they're fantastic. I want to emphasize, they actually came to me and asked me whether they could testify on my behalf, pro bono, at the October 27th and November 2nd meeting. The professional engineer did it too. So I had myself, the lawyers, and the professional engineer at both of these meetings, right? We lost, right? We didn't give a damn. Not only that, one woman who was sitting right in front of me clapped at this meeting. Clapped at the meeting, right? She went. Within about 5 minutes, there were two cops, two sheriffs standing, looking down at her, glaring down at her for doing that. This was outrageous behavior on the part of these guys at these meetings. It really is enough. So finally, a few words on these guys are great, and as they came to the meeting, they did a great job. But we know what happened, and so as a result of it, we worked and filed this lawsuit that we're talking about here. If anyone would like to have more information on either case, I'll stay around so that you can talk to me after the meeting. Again, for both cases, if we win at the first stage, additional financial assistance will be needed. In other words, I'm not here today to say I need a pot of gold. I don't need any money. Right this minute, I don't need any money. But if we win on Benderson, it means we busted this standing. We have to go to what's called DOA, the DOA court. The last time around, that was about $150,000. That's how much money that was. On this, and so that's what will happen here. On this, on the kill shot and all that, it's not clear where that'll go. If we win, they may try to go back and do it right? And we'll just have to watch that, whether we raise the money for that. I just want to,
1 minute.
Yep.
1 minute.
1 minute? Oh, wow, I almost made it. Okay, so stay tuned for information on the funding business. You can call me and I'll be happy to give you information. I just want to say, why are we doing this? Think about impacts. I just want to list, and these aren't all the impacts. These aren't all the emergency vehicle travel times will explode. Even more marooning is already bad, right? At people during tourist season, particularly. Large and negative impacts on property values with little or no notice. Siesta Key residents have essentially been told their views do not matter. Where's our due process? Overcrowding of public beaches and implicit county endorsement of private beach use by tourists causing demands for ships, right? I'm sure you all have more than that, but that's why we're doing this. It's madness, yes.
Just a quick question to clear something up for me. Hotel in the Village on the corner of Cali Miramar and Ocean Boulevard. Is that going to occupy that whole corner?
It's going to wrap around Foxy Lake. Right?
Okay.
That's the way to think
There's a
about it.
hotel that was there that's just been renovated and it's got a tiki
That's-
area outside. Is
That's
that
yet a
part?
different.
That's a different.
That's a different one.
Okay, so if this kill shot works with Benderson in February.
No, the kill shot is aimed at October 27, two hotels so far, but there's more hotels lined up.
Right, well, what I'm saying is is it perhaps the right thing to do is escrow money right now to see, in fact, if one lawsuit is first and it wins, then maybe that money should be escrowed?
I would love to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to you about that.
That's a good idea, Jim.
Can we do
Because
that?
if one wins, obviously the other one doesn't have to go through, you know.
The one question that I would have for Catherine really, and the SKA, as I see it, because I've been with their help, but mostly on my own with a subset of people. I've raised all the money that I've described the project for, almost all of it. it's a pain in the ass, and I'm getting tired, and my wife will kill me if I don't stop. I'm dead, I mean, really. So
Amen.
my question is, what do you think, people on Siesta Key really understand the shit that's gonna hit the fan if this happens?
Not yet.
I mean, this key is toast, it's toast,
The vibe is gone.
right? I mean, so people really need to know, and if they do, you know, look, I can't, there's one thing I'm not supposed to say this, but I will tell you, that threats, serious threats have been put on some of my plaintiffs already, other plaintiffs already. So that means because of my kill shot. That means I got them scared, right? They think they can tell me they're billionaires and they can destroy us. I need people on Siesta Key to say, come out, you know, they have to understand what's going on, and they're gonna be up against a whole lot of people on Siesta Key and not make those kind of threats work.
Question is,